I'm Mal, welcome to another episode of Mini Model Makes. This is the second video that I'm trying to make today. I've already gone through how I've painted my new Tau stealth suit team, and for this one I will show you my Ogors that I've painted for Age of Sigmar and the Mawpot. I did release a video some time ago on an unboxing for that. So without much further ado, I'll get the Mawpot out and we'll crack on. Okay, great. Here we have my Ogor Mawpot. As I said in the introduction to the video, I've done an unboxing video on this where I go through sort of the rules and benefits and things, so please hit that up if you've not seen that. This is an amazing model. I painted it in sub-assemblies. So the pot was to one side, the chains, the canopy, the tusks, all those were all separate, which leaves you with sort of the rock and the ground around the edges of the model, the base of it as it were, to do. This was, the pot was sprayed with some Mornfang brown. Games Workshop don't do it anymore. There is an Army Painter leather brown, but a brown spray for the metal areas is what you need. You then dry brush gunmetal over the top of that. If you get the dry brushing right, it gives it kind of a dirty, rusty, unkept hue, which is what you're kind of looking for with this. It was then an Agrax wash over that, and then a dry brush of iron breaker over the teeth just to make things stand out. Chains are done in exactly the same way. Thing to look out for is there are different shields. There's a Cornate shield, there's a Stormcast shield. I've just painted those in the traditional colours, you know, red and brass for Khorne. The Stormcast shield is how I do my Stormcast Eternals. So they've obviously captured and eaten one of my guys and used his shield in the pot. Flames on here, you start off with Mephiston red, then go through, so it was Avalon Sunset, then Bad Moon yellow over the top of it. Just work your way through from red through orange to yellow essentially for your flames. They're good enough to have sculpted them on, which is amazing. The bony areas on the base are done with Zandri dust. Then it's Ushabti bone and an Agrax wash in Screaming Skull to highlight it. The rocks are all Mechanica standard grey with a dry brush of Dawnstone and a dry brush of Pallid Witch Flesh. Very, very faint Pallid Witch Flesh over the top of it. Done the same as with the slaughter block, the rock. The chunks of flesh are Mephiston red, and then it's Screamer pink over that, and the red shade over the top of that. Sorry, I've forgotten what it's called. But yeah, red ink or red wash in the meat on there. The blood effect on the stone is just blood for the blood god. What you do is get an old brush or a knackered brush, put it in your blood for the blood god, stipple it onto the rock. You know, you're not painting it on, you're stippling it on. Gives it a good effect. That goes over the little cleaver in there as well. You can't really see it for the canopy, which is a shame. Same kind of thing on the tongue there. The actual canopy itself, now I was experimenting with this. I really love the box art and the different skins of animals and things that have all been stitched together. Just pick out what you want. There's different greys on there. There's Jakiro orange. There is Avalon Sunset. There's XV88. All different colours. Whatever you want to do, really. Think about it. You could do it all one colour if you want. What I then did was give it a Agrax wash all over to help pick out the edges of the skins, and then you, as I say, you start going on. So I've done sort of tiger stripes here, so I've used black stripes there on those ones, little spots for the leopard, tiny little ones as if it's like a cheetah, just different colours in there, different stippling and things, and then a very faint dry brush of pallid witch flesh around the edges, just to give, I mean, with the tiger ears, it gives it that sort of, as if the tiger's got a white belly, which is what they would have, but then gives them that kind of age effect. Thing to remember with animal skins is won't be the same underneath, so underneath you just need a brown or a dirty colour from where they've been tanned. That's done. My ropes are Baylor brown, picked out with Agrax, then a bit of Baylor brown over it again as a dry brush to make the knots and things stand out. The tusks start with Rhinox hide, and then it was Mornfang brown goes over that, then you Shabty bone, but you work up it each time, and then Agrax washes over the top to sort of blend the colours back in. And that's the same with the wooden poles. They're Mornfang, Agrax, and then a very faint dry brush of pallid witch flesh again on those. Pallid witch flesh is an amazing colour for bases and any kind of faint high brush. Just wax them on your brush, make sure there's hardly any left, and just run it really quickly over the models and it picks out something. It's amazing, really good colour. Then the pièce de résistance, the actual goo in the Mawpot itself, I used a wraithbone spray on the actual disc itself to give it the kind of smooth pale colour. I then used one of the brand new Citadel contrast paints, which is Plague Bearer Flesh, and that went over the top of the pot. I gave it some really nice contrast, gave it that sort of tigerine curry appearance, which is what I was looking for with this. And then a Shabty bone a highlight over the raised areas. The meat was done exactly the same as on the chopping block, and then there's some little orange carrots, there's a head, a foot and a chicken in there. Just pick them out in flesh colours, whatever you want to do really. And that's the actual soup itself. What I then gave was an hard coat over the top to give it, I didn't really hard coat the items in there, but I've hard coated the fluid, as it were, to give it that wet, slimy, gloopy, bubbly appearance. So that is the Mawpot. Now if you've got an Ogor army, I really recommend you get one of these as a centrepiece and scenery piece for your army. Not only does it buff your army anyway, but it's an absolutely amazing little, really well detailed, easy to paint kit, which will make your army look amazing on the tabletop. So what I will do is I'm just going to put that into my little shelf behind me with my other Age of Sigmar things. I've got like one Age of Sigmar shelf, and then there's like 10 billion heresy shelves, and a couple of shelves dedicated to my 40k Blood Angels, and one shelf dedicated to a bit of everything. You can see I play too much heresy and not enough Age of Sigmar. So then I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Forgive me for mucking about with the camera. We have our Ogor. These guys are superb. So they were sprayed with a wraithbone spray all over. The skin's the dominant thing on this model, so use that. Then it was the Dark Oath contrast paint over the top of it and over the skin. Really nice. I've not used Dark Oath, I've used the Gilliman flesh. The Dark Oath gives it a slightly more darker, funnily enough, tone, a dirtier appearance, which is kind of what with the Ogors. And then mix Cadian flesh tone and really sort of water it down and pick out the raised areas. And then exactly the same again with a lesser degree to the Kislev flesh. What we'll probably do is the next batch of Ogres I do, I will probably do a skin painting video for them in my sort of 5-minute skin themes that I've done in the past with other models, just to go through it and show how easy it is to achieve. Next thing on the Ogres that dominates the models, the gut plate. That was, I used Molten Bronze, which is a P3 Privateer press colour. Absolutely glorious metal colour. Agrax, and then a dry brush of Brassy Brass, which is a Vallejo colour. And then a Sycorax bronze highlight around the teeth areas to make that stand out. Boots, belts and things are, they start off Mornfang, Rhinox brown, sorry, then Mornfang brown over the top of that, then your Agrax wash and a bit of Mornfang again, highlight a bit of wood on the barrels or the belt or the actual boots. The metal is Army Painter gunmetal. That's done over a brown base coat. So same again, you can Mornfang brown all your metal areas. Heavy dry brush of your gunmetal. Then your Agrax wash, because you're trying to make this metal look, obviously it's not going to be pristine, it's an ogre army, they don't really take care of the weapons. Probably the swords aren't even sharp anymore, it's just they bludgeon people to death with them. Then it's Ironbreaker as a faint highlight, dry brush over the top of the metal areas, and it's Blood for the Blood God, old tatty paintbrush, stipple it in your lay. Try to get it to gloop up around areas he would have it, you know, on his fist. Same again on the blade, stipple it into the blade, so you've got that kind of blood effect. What I've done is I mixed a little bit of Nuln Oil in with the Blood for the Blood God just to make it a bit darker, which helps somewhat. My chaps, I've got red trousers, which is Corm Red, Agrax over the top of the Corm Red, and then Corm Red over that, on the raised areas to lighten it up. Plenty of water then into Wazdaka Red, which picks out raised areas on that, so that gives those trousers the definition they've got there. The moustaches are Abaddon Black, picked out with Eshin Grey. Teeth are Pallid Witch Flesh. Eyes are the same because I've painted the eyeballs on these. I don't know if you can see. Little dot of black for pupils. But that's one of my Ogor bulls, or whatever they're called now. Didn't take me long to paint. I've got another one which funnily enough looks a bit like Mark, who works at my local hobby store. So I've started calling this ogre Mark. So it looks the spit of him. If he ever watches this, Mark, I think this ogre looks a bit like you. That's in there. Basing effect was some Army Painter Wilderness Tufts, which you can see on the models there. It's sand. I use a Xandri Dust paint on it, then it's Agrax Earthshade over the top of that to give it some depth, and then a faint dry brush of Tyrant Skull over the top to give it that kind of Badlands look. I was going to do my ogres with snow, wintry theme, but I've just pretty much finished a Space Wolf army which is covered in slate and snow, so I just didn't have it in me to do another snow army. I wanted to do something different. So that's why my ogres kind of have that traditional-ish looking Mornfang Badlands bases to them. And there they are in all their glory, my two Ogors. I've got another couple to do to complete their squad, and then I'm going to do some Iron Guts after that. I might do a video on those as well, but I will definitely do a video on my ogre skin for people. And that's it. That's completes pretty much a day of filming for me. What I'll do is I'll wrap up the video and we'll go from there. So see you again shortly. And that's my video on Ogors and the Great Mawpot. I really did enjoy painting this piece of scenery. It's absolutely superb. I can't wait to get the chance to get it on a tabletop with some more Ogres. Still a few weeks away with the coronavirus outbreak we're in the middle of at the minute. But it would be nice to see some of my friends and get some gaming done. I've not really played much Age of Sigmar. It really does appeal to me at the moment, so I want to get some games going. Okay, what I will probably try and do at some point as well is I've got some more Ogors to paint, so I will get those assembled, base coated, and I might do a little video properly on how I do the Ogor skin, because it's such a big and dominant area of the model. I'm sure it would help people a little bit. Let me know in the comments if that is something you would love me to do. Please like, subscribe and share this video. It would be nice to get a bit of an audience. I would like to do more videos, and having an audience out there would definitely spur me on. Please stay safe, keep your hobby going, and hopefully see you shortly. Alright, bye for now, take care.